It's so pretty. I'm gonna take the ducks and the geese home.
Got a big
all in the same car.
sunset and everything, yeah.
Bye, duckies. I'm gonna miss you, and geese. Y'all can come live in my house if you want. We got a creek. This is much better though, I think.
Look at that one. Good butt straight up in there. Look at that. Y'all like duck butt? Here, look at this.
You can't still be hungry. My goodness. My gosh, you guys eat a lot.
We're diving for food. Hey everybody, it's Heather and Leo. We made it to Letcher County. We're doing a little bit of camping, staying out in the campground by a lake. We've got a beautiful spot. We've got a beautiful spot picked out.
It'd still be nice to have some nice spring weather, but it is what it is. So. Oh well, tomorrow will be pretty though. Any good?
Gooey. Watch this.
So it rained for a little bit, which made it pretty cold and rainy, but oh, it's just like being at home.
Yeah, exactly. Everywhere I go, there's a side-by-side.
You can leave the holler, but holler follows, because we're still in Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's nice here though. It's really, really, really dark. No lights, which is cool, but also no moon tonight.
One big mouthful.
So we made it through the first chilly night here in Letcher County.
It was a little, no, it wasn't cold at all, actually.
What? So we're in Jenkins, Kentucky at what they call the Murdered Men Cemetery, or Potter Cemetery. And this is where the final resting place of the Mullins and Company is buried. So it's not just the Mullins family, it's other people as well. But there's supposed to be, why it's called that, there's supposed to be 25 or more murder victims buried here as well.
A very unique name, isn't it? Murdered Man Cemetery.
It's called Potter's Cemetery, not because of, I thought at first it was because of Potter's graves, but it's actually the last name Potter, which is pretty common name around here, and it's a pretty famous last name for moonshiners.
Whitaker.
I don't know what the deal is with the
Building? Summer, these things are full of wasps. Potter.
the Potter.
Yep. Oh, vine. Taking a look at 1849 Potters.
The sweet William Potter. He was 69 years old. He was a farmer, and he was accidentally kicked in the stomach by a mule. January 8th, 1919. So we have our first, this is January 9th, 1919. So we have our first accidental death. (1849-1919). Sleep in Jesus, Nancy Potter, 1852-1928. Private Lafayette Bentley, Kentucky Cavalry, 13, 1841, 1865. Buried here in Bentley Cemetery. So that's just a memorial. He died during the Civil War. And here's Greenberry Harris. So Greenberry was one of the ones killed in the massacre. So when this happened, the town of Jenkins didn't even exist. It was established 20 years later in 1912, roundabout.
Reuben. Spelled names. My grandfather's name was Reuben, but it wasn't spelled with a U. Or wasn't spelled R-E-U.
Reuben
Mullins. Husband of Lucy Mullins. She's right here.
1860-1919.
Notice how someone's repaired that. I've never seen one repaired like that.
And this is Lucy Mullins, wife of Reuben Mullins, 1853-1900. He was too good, too gentle and fair to dwell in this cold world of care. Mullins.
Bye. Johnson, Bell, Potter, Potter.
Gone too soon.
You put these right here.
Potter, Britt, Joseph, Gladys. I couldn't live without my son, Britt, 1937 and 1993. Joseph Wayne, 1966 and 1993. A truck wreck took me away. Gladys, 1932, 1999. Broken heart. Did you see this?
Yeah, I did.
A truck wreck took me away. I couldn't live without my son. A broken heart.
The 1-year-old. Juanita Johnson, 1951 to 1952. Bottom it says, "Darling, we miss thee." You see the little lamb? Raina Wright, 1899 to 1901. Budded on earth to loom in heaven. I think the B's missing. I'm assuming it meant to, originally said to bloom in heaven. A couple old ones here too. 1899 to 1959, Lizzie Potter. a picture of her right there. Joe Potter, 1895 to 1965. Rest in peace. Look at this guy. He just looks like that big old grin on his face. He just looks like he was a fun person to know. Mart Wright, 1880.
This is Joel Martin Wright. He went by Mart. He was 36 years old. This is Letcher. August 24th, 1916. And it says gunshot wound, lung, and spinal cord. Dave Martin Wright, Jenkins police officer, shot about 3 weeks ago by Mary Hudson, 16 years old, while making an effort to break up the illegal whiskey and beer traffic around Jenkins. Died during the week of his wounds. His spinal cord was injured. Wright was taken to the Good Samaritan Hospital in Lexington, Kentucky, last week for treatment, when he was informed by specialists that recovery was impossible. It was then that he returned to his home and spent last days with his family. The affair is deeply regretted.
1880 to 1916. Delana E. Killen, 1861 to 1913. She died as she lived, a Christian. Well, you do that. Exactly the way you do that. Father, D.W. Whitaker, 1880 to 1960. Imagine what he saw. A nice long life and a very interesting time period in our country, as a matter of fact. James Potter,
We had talked earlier about Lizzie and Joe Potter losing 3 children, and one of the ones that I had mentioned was James Potter, who was 30 years old, and this is him. He was a coal miner, Highway 23, and he died of hemorrhage and a fractured skull. He was 24 years old, so here we have another accident.
1947. Listen at this one. Listen to this, guys. Remember me as you pass by. As you are now, so once was I. As I am now, you soon will be. Prepare for death, and follow me. That's pretty deep. I've seen a similar saying on Grace before, not quite the same. That's pretty deep stuff right there.
Nina Heatley, 1853-1926. Reverend Potter, 1817, 1890 something. Thy trials ended, thy rest is won. John Henry Kraft, 1876, 1899, 22 years old, no, 21 and 22 days. Earth has no sorrow that heaven cannot heal. And this is David Craft. $18.99. Sam Potter, 1882, 1959, says, remember me too. We're remembering you, Sam. Bell Potter, 1880, 1944, remember me. Britt Potter, father, 1919, 1966, where the soul never dies, the son's remembered. Here. So this is Melvin Potter, 1877, 1917, a good citizen, a good husband. Angeline Potter, 1877, 1946. Heaven is my home. It looked like she died 1 year before him.
Yep.
Mother, we will join thee in that heavenly land. No more to fake the parting hand. No more to take the parting hand. Martha Mullins Van Hoos, 1899, 1988. Robert Mullins, 1870, 1914. This says Dorothy K., 1916, 2004, and Sam, 1905 to 1990. And the rock says, Mom, Dad, if tears could build a stairway in memories, I'd walk right up to heaven and bring you home again. Rose. So this is a son of Sam and Dorothy Rose, 1934, 1937. Alton. Robert Lee Rose, 1944, 1975. You were the sunshine in our home. It broke my heart to lose you, but you didn't go alone. Part of me went with you the day that you went home. Versal Rose, 1933, 1934. Gone, but not forgotten. Another daughter, Dorothy Rose, 1937, 1937. An angel. Poor Dorothy lost a lot of babies. Judy Craft, 1897 and 1897, lived one day. Levi Potter, 1895, 1895, lived January to February, died on Valentine's Day. Fanny Potter. Eddie Potter lived 2 days, 1894. Elizabeth, 1892. So this is an article I found that actually includes Elizabeth Potter Belcher. This story is wrote by Kentucky Tennessee Living. They have a channel on YouTube you should check out. They do a lot of interesting things, cover a lot of interesting topics. It says, a short distance from Jane Mullins Belcher is the grave of Elizabeth Potter Belcher, who also died under mysterious circumstances. Both women were married to Isaac Belcher, and their gravestones have very interesting epitaphs attached to them. Jane Mullins Belcher's epitaph reads, "Faithful with her trust unto death." Elizabeth Potter Belcher's epitaph reads, "Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord." But that's all it says. I don't really know much more than that, but I thought I would share. Elizabeth, 1892, age about 51. Blessed are the dead that die in the Lord. So this is Ira Mullins. Ira was shot multiple times in the head, shoulders, and thighs. His wife, Luanza, was shot in the breast and knees. John Chappelle was shot 6 times. Greenberry Harris, who was only 15, and Wilson were shot through the heart.
All the same date kind of brings it home, don't it? You can see them all in a row.
And Red Fox also lost his life, so nothing was gained from this.
1904 to 1994. It says resting. Martha Jane Potter, 1885 to 1971. Gone is the face we loved so dear, silent the voice we loved to hear. Floyd Potter, 1884 to 1960. Gone but not forgotten. You're absolutely right, Floyd, you are not. Lamb, spotted this one backwards a little bit. You could see the little lamb. That's Samuel J. Bentley, 1923 to 1932. Safe in the arms of Jesus. You see these like this and you just got to kind of wonder what happened. You know, like the 1918, you know, when we had the flu epidemic and stuff like that. And you'll get in a lot of these graves. In 1918 is a very prevalent year for death dates on tombstones. You see a lot of those, 1918 in children. But now this one here, I always, whenever I see these marble here, these are military. This is Kearney Stewart, S1. I'm not exactly sure what that S1 signifies. Maybe, you know, one of you guys could answer that a little bit. Answer that for us. U.S. Navy, World War II, 1925 to 1994. At least he got to, the good thing, Kearney got to live a life after the war. A lot of our veterans didn't come back. This is, I'll fix her stuff. Oh, sorry. Straighten it back out. Some of her stuff had fallen over. I'll put it back the way it was. This is Ruth Stewart, 1935 to 2012. This is Eldon B. Embry, 1927 to 1986. And one directly behind it, I noticed. This is Bernard Sargent, Private U.S. Army, World War II, 1917 to 2006. This is the good ones as far as veterans go, because simple fact, that date right there means he didn't die in the war. He got to come home and have a family. This is Mona Jean Embry, 1932 to 1980, in loving memory. There's the sergeant right there, there's Bernard, and then they've got the war plaque right below it. But his wife Marie is right with him, I didn't see that. 1924 to 1991, she's right there with him, I didn't even see that. Fairchild, Roy Hobart, 1935 to 2003, and Wanda Lee, 1936 to 1993. Mom and dad below them. And there's one there. You can see where it's at, but that's the marker. A little rock just barely sticking up out of the ground 2 or 3 inches. But you can see where the grave is definitely there. And there's more here, you can see them. There, 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 there. I only see a couple stones here and there. But there's more graves here than there are stones, which is, you know, fairly common in a lot of these older graveyards. A lot of them, you know, you'll find the graveyard and there are just a couple markers in the entire place. Pedestal where a headstone once sat, right here. All that's left is the pedestal that the stone sat on. This is George W. Potter, 1871 to 1902. You can see that one's fell over, laying flat. And it's broken in the middle anyway. Okay. This is a husband and wife. This is Easter, wife of Levi Potter, age 63 years, lived in church 17 years. She was the sunshine of our home. And this is Levi Potter, January 14th, 1848 to July 10th, 1926. And it says the same as hers. It says she was the sunshine in our home, and his says he was the sunshine in our home. See, that one's fell over.
Spring is springing, beautiful flowers. Jesse, Ulysses, 1910, 1976. Elsie, 1909, 2005. Believe on the Lord Jesus Christ, and thou shalt be saved. Acts 16:31. Andrew Brown, 1903, 1946.
Just look at the size of this tree here. You can see the hole where it used to stand, where it used to be. Look here how big. You can see that's, well, standing beside of this thing, it's up to here on me. That's how thick it is. That's how tall, how thick this tree is. But you can see where it just smashed the fence, knocked over a couple stones too. It's like it just caught the corner of that one and just barely missed this one. Georgia May Roberts, 1906 to 1940. She is not dead. She is just away.
So I figured it'd just be easier to show you guys this. So this is Georgia May Roberts' death certificate. She actually went by Eva. I assume it's Eva Georgia Roberts, but either way, this is hers. Birth date December 31st, 1906. She was 33. Same parents, same death date. And it seems like it's bilateral pneumonia. Something 6.5 months. This is heart failure. And it looks like here, contributing causes premature, is that labor? And it looks like some kind of operation. So it just looks like she had a lot of bad things going on that just didn't end well. So
it's kind of nice. And this is the one the tree caught. Luckily it didn't do any real damage, it just knocked it over. It just needs to be reset. Glenn Avenel, 1923 to 2005. And Richard T, 1919 to 1973. And this, the lamb, you know how those stand out, little lambs. You know what that is before you get to it. This is Kitty Lou Glenn. I'm sure that Kitty Lou, they had big plans for Kitty Lou to go to school or be a lawyer, doctor, or whatever. Life isn't really fair, is it? Life can be beautiful, but it's not necessarily fair. This one got knocked completely over. There's two underneath here. All I can see is WY and the name Laura. That's all I can make out on that one. Kathleen Webb, 1919 to 1985. And Arlie, 1916 to 1989. His precious memories. This is Willard Mullins. Father. And Mary Mullins, says mother. Her date is 1901 to 1946. That's not a very long life. And his is 1896 to 1946. They both died April 28th. Same day, same year. April 28th, 1946, both of them. And this is Glenn Mullins. Mullins, Kentucky Private Corps Military Police, World War II, December 25th, born on Christmas Day, 1921, and died February 3rd, 1945. This, guys, is probably one of the real, a World War II fatality. Kenneth Paul Bates, 1938 to 1955. Stella M. Bates, 1920 to 2006. It's a fairly recent one. This one here, I was heading over for this one too. I saw the brass, military brass, on the waist back. This is James Bates, Tech 4. I'm not sure exactly what that signifies. U.S. Army, World War II, 1909 to 1975. Well, guys, we just want to thank you guys for coming along with us today on another little adventure out into the wilderness, looking at some old graves, telling old stories.